So welcome everyone. It seems a little bit strange. The chair, I'll sit over here for the moment. So welcome everyone. You've heard a lot about digital twins today, and I'm sure you're hearing about it on a fairly regular basis. What I wanted to talk about here in particular was give us some specific use cases, some examples. How is it they use? What are these strategies from people who are in the field right now using it for various different purposes? And so what I wanted to give you just a brief introduction from Henry Mo. Just give us not the full background. I was raised on a farm, in the old country. But give us your background briefly in a few seconds, relevant to what we're talking about today. And let's start down at the other end with John. Yeah, we'll come this way.
Thank you. So, believe it or not, I am actually old enough to have started my first job behind a drawing board. So I can remember when we designed buildings using pen and ink. Fortunately, I had that one. So I've seen 2D CAD, I've seen 3D CAD, so you can develop into BIM, 3D BIM, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D BIM, and then I've seen all of this sort of then being developed into sort of digital twins. I've got a lot of experience in public-private partnerships, where the private sector is taking over the whole of the responsibility of the construction and the operation of 25 years. And therefore, they are massively incentivized to sort of develop digital twins and utilize digital twins. And then at the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, I was involved in developing citywide digital twins, which I'll turn about a little bit later.
That's all. My country was stood. So, as a consultant, subtractive, real estate and property manager, so combining all the digital aspects is key to develop all these different areas of the USC, and having technologies such as BIM, digital twin has been there, that was recently spelled out and matured as a technology.
Thanks very much. Top.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Attila Vidra. I'm also working in digital BIM information management work in the last decade, building the region, various key projects into rail and metro, and another flagship project in the kingdom. I joined around 2.5 years ago to AtkinsRéalis as digital lead. I'm looking after planning, design, and engineering services, where we at AtkinsRéalis making sure that we have like a connected data, connected services solution leading into digital twin.
Thanks, Dan. It's a pleasure being here with you, but here panelists and the esteemed delegates. Very excited for this discussion, very exciting topic. So my name is Abdullah Sa. I came to know digital twin about 5 years back, and I get to know digital twin in the manufacturing industry. It is an exciting and interesting topic. We have seen how it can help the industrial sector in adopting a fourth industrial revolution, and we are now also seeing how it can help in the construction field and how it can optimize complexity of the construction work. Very excited to be here with you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. I'd love to be here with you on stage. So part of talking about what a digital twin is, I suppose I should introduce myself too, shouldn't I? So I'm Daniel Kefko. I'm in product management at WakeCap. WakeCap provides real-time location. It helps companies understand on a job site, who is there, what equipment is there, where are they, where are people, all the safety pieces that go along with it. A lot of the data that ultimately feeds into digital twins. It's the pieces that feed into the live job site and the live updates of the digital twin beyond just the physical assets. Okay, so we talked about digital twin. You hear about it all over the place. Really cute name, really rings true. But there's some. I'd like to know the current state of the term digital twin, right? How has it changed? Or better yet, just focus on where it is digital twin now. What does the term mean to you now in the current state of the world, in the current use in KSA? And if you could talk a little bit about that. Do you want to, Abdullah, can I answer over to you first?
Yeah, sure. So if we think about the concept and the basics of digital twin, it's a replica of something already existing. It could be an object, it could be a construction site, it could be a process, it could be a user experience. So you are replicating that in a digital form so that you can better simulate, you can better have scenarios, you can feed it with different conditions, different circumstances in order to better manage your process or object or construction site. I think the topic in Saudi is new. I think it is evolving, especially with the big construction sites we currently have. With the Vision 2030, we are going to have a lot of construction, and I think it would play a big role into that. It will drive efficiency. It will give better decision making. There is a constant, or I would say, there is a streamlining of the digital tool along with other technologies like IoTs, like intelligence, artificial intelligence, etc. I think they go line by line and they complement each other. The need for it is there, the adoption is there, but I see it as evolving. People are getting to know more and more about it, but I think the pace of the progress to it is moving very focused.
Okay, thank you very much. Attila, if you could answer, what's the current state of what a digital twin is?
Thank you. Yeah, I fully agree what you mentioned earlier. As you know, the definition of digital twin is basically a virtual representation of physical asset, or it can be physical in terms of processes or other parts of the business. And basically what we are focusing more on the construction industry side is how digital twin concept itself will increase the operational efficiency, and what is the connection between the digital twin, which is in the construction context is more during the pack stage, having more benefits in regards to cost to developers, to clients, owners, operators, and from my end, for example, one of the main focus is that how the prerequisites will be fed into ready organization, into the digital tool process itself, starting even from beginning stage, setting our proper requirements all along in this particular case during CapEx with the design of a program or project asset through construction with all the connectivity I mentioned earlier. So at the end we can have full benefit of all those information as in a structured way to reuse for benefits of digital twin.
So digital twin for me is of course like it's it's twin. So you need to have a digital entity and you need to have a physical entity, and you have to make them talk to each other holistically. And in the real estate development and construction industry, there are you are lucky sometimes you have a digital entity, but the physical entity is not there yet. And in other scenarios, you will have a physical entity built without a digital entity. And you might have both, but they're not talking to each other. So this is where the current state is moving. So at the CapEx phase, you see lots of digitization and job site data capturing, but also on the innovation side, ongoing activities. But it would be great if you see them in action, talking to each other and teaching each other. So we take the feedback from the operation for the delivery of the asset and the other way out. So educate that work on the operation or other administrates. It's a very, or that is direct, the delivery of the asset. And by having this direct conversations with time to enhance the quality of the building power.
And John?
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the scale element of digital twins because, digital twins don't just need to be at asset or building infrastructure level. They can be at city-wide level as well. And that's something that I'm familiar with and I have experience of from my time with the European Market for Reconstruction Development. And I definitely think it's something that's coming to Saudi Arabia. We heard this morning for the National Housing Corporation, now they're running the digital twins on a city scale for about 4 different cities here. Now, why would you do a digital twin for a city scale? Well, it basically acts as the foundation for all of your smart city applications. So we found in the European Enclave, we built a city-wide digital twin through drone scanning, through sending vans around the streets, through individual people having scanners in backpacks. We could create a foundation for that 60 different smart city applications. But we can also use a digital twin for modeling simulations and scenarios for the city, like disaster scenarios or air quality scenarios or traffic barriers, I guess. So digital twins don't just have to be project specific, asset specific. They can be at almost at national scale.
Okay, excellent. So now you started to mention a couple of specifics. I'd like to hear from one of the other three panel members here. Was there a particular project or is there a particular project activity that leaps to mind where digital twins had a big impact? If there was a lot of value to the stakeholders. Could you maybe talk about a specific instance in recent use where digital twins has helped the project?
Should I go first? So, one of the cities that we were working in, keeping at the national scale, has a massive air quality problem. The city sits in a valley, surrounded by mountains. They just got a lot of sweeper of wind going through. They wanted a city-wide digital twin, so that when any new high-rise buildings were built, they could model the airflow through the city. We also could, once they built the digital twin, they could then use it to actually overlay infrared imaging to understand where they had the biggest energy losses coming out of buildings, as to come at 25% of the buildings in the city belongs to government. So this enabled them to prioritize where they're going to do energy efficiency investments in insulated buildings, improve the air conditioning or improve the
Into this protocol. Like some of us. So I think it's already a practice in many industries. Part of it is construction industry. So again, if you think about structural design, high-rise buildings, it always involves building these scale models and getting it into plan scope, see how the small model would behave so it can for the design of the real asset, the major asset. And this is one zone of many industry is like using institute practices in sales, manufacturing, so they keep using these practices. It's a construction industry works still keep up. So I have seen lots of let's say the digital side is digital twin where there are lots of calls, and I've seen data integration on operation space, but like a full implementation of an integrated solution is difficult.
So you haven't seen that in operation or some aspect of that digital twin implementation?
On micro scales, okay? But you don't see like a citywide digital twin that is into the right index of the information. I think it's still overall. So if you pick a city and say like, I want to understand what is the existing construction there, you will have limited information because of the nature of these assets were built 80 years ago or 50 years ago, so there is no technology at that point. So that's why you see at the moment technology is trying to catch up, digitalize these assets to reach to a level where we have an integrated.
Great, thanks. Attila, Abdul, do you have a specific example in mind?
Yeah, I could say what we identified as huge benefits as part of our research when we looked into digital twin specific processes, concept is the real need of data capturing in a structured way from day one actually, and how does that feel after the operation of it, which is the real benefit of digital twinning, which we can outline the importance of basically setting out requirements all over project life cycle, but how this is really starting even in an invitation to tender up to handing over that particular project or asset and then operating that in the future.
Great.
Yeah, I would also highlight one of the favorite examples that I have seen from previous experience was a project inside the city. So before it gets built, using visualization and digital, we were able to determine, predict what kind of infrastructure is deployed, whether it is a new infrastructure or change to existing infrastructures.
Okay, excellent. And by the way, if anybody has any questions, they can put it into the app and I'll get to, or you could just put your hand up and bring in a minute. I have one more question, which was suggested. So we have these digital twins. We have various data sources coming in. We have various integrations. How can AI, or actually, I'm not even necessarily going to restrict you to the buzzword, right? How can the use of all of this data coming into the same place through AI or through just traditional big data be used to get a better outcome?
I can kick off with that one. I think, and this is relevant very much to Saudi Arabia. What we're finding is that digital BIM models are being developed to sort of potentially LOD log 500 level. But we're finding very few models coming out of the construction stage contains things like asset typing or energy typing or sustainability exactly. Now, what this means is that you can't use the BIM model as a digital twin in an asset information wall. And that means you can't apply AI to the data because ultimately what you want in operation, I mean, let's say 50%, usually it's about 50% of the entire asset cost over its life cycle is in the operational phase. What you want is to undertake predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance utilizes AI, but it utilizes the AI on the data that's coming out of the digital twin. So you have to really be thinking about how you're going to set up that digital twin during the design and the construction phase so that you've got that ready to go into an asset information model in the operational phase.
Any other answers to how AI can be used?
Just to echo what John said, like it's important to have the vision from the beginning. Then you need to have proper system integrations, proper standards, and you embed all the digital twin and reporting elements into your design brief, into your execution and end-to-end offer, and then you take it to the operations. But at the moment, these disconnects or lack of system integration is pushing back on the rollout of the digital twin at bigger scale. So,
Anybody else?
Yeah, actually, but I can see is that compared to decades ago, that where we were struggling before the digital era of data collection, information collection, and how much we could rely several years back home, for example, SQL documentation, SQL drawings, how does that fit the operation? Now we flip it, because now we have a vast amount of data, we talk about big data, and now the challenge is not how we will get the data, but how we can have a structured data, how we can filter out data that we can use for a specific purpose, and that's where AI can come into the picture. With machine learning, LLM, on actually querying and data with proper prompt engineering, so we can feed it for various purposes in the concept for operational fields.
So yeah, I agree of what have been said by my colleagues. I think going back to the basics of digital twin, so it is a replica that should be fit with data, and that data is the power of AI. So if you combine the two, the data that's being fed by the digital twin or being communicated, using AI with that, you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of scenarios. I would like to give two examples. So one, during the planning phase, if you are using AI and you have a change in the plan or you have an additional activity, using AI, you can get more accurate prediction of how long this activity or task will take. You can get more accurate prediction of how much it costs, because AI would use the previous information and couldn't use also external sources of information. Another example, for safety and security, AI can give you prediction of based on previous incident has occurred, AI can give you suggestion or can give you changes that you can do during construction to prevent further or similar incidents to what have happened before. So I think there is a lot of cases that you can do with the AI. The more you structure, the more you organize the data and the data flow and the digital twin, the more use cases and the more accurate prediction and use you can make out of AI.
Excellent, thank you. Are there any questions? I don't see any questions coming in from you now, explicitly. Any questions out in the audience? Not seeing. Okay. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. So for organizations who are looking to now adopt digital twin for project planning for construction, what are some of the challenges they face when they are starting, and how can they overcome that?
Somebody want to attack that soon and briefly?
To take that, so basically change management to make sure that all the parties within the organization is aligned to adopt these technologies, because it involves a good amount of investment throughout the asset life cycle for the project, so, and governance as well, to make sure that when you send a vision, had proper governance in place to maintain this vision through the life cycle of the asset.
Great. Attila.
Yeah, from my end, I would suggest to go back to basics also, to focus on prerequisite of setting up digital twin, what are the related conditions, to have a very solid base implement in models, information management, data management, that goes will fit into the final digital twin strategy for an organization.
Great. And John, you got 30 seconds.
So firstly, you've got to understand that digital twins cost money, and they don't just cost money to establish, they cost money to maintain. Because in operation, every variation, every modification then to the asset, you have to make the same modification to the digital twin for it to be useful. So you need to properly plan how you're going to use the digital twin. Do a business case, understand what the beneficial outcomes are first before you invest in it.
Yeah, I think having the proper setup, the proper infrastructure, doing it right from the beginning is key. That's a challenge at the same time. Two, realizing the value of it and the return on investment is also a challenge. And to build a valid business case that bring the value from that project is also sometimes challenging.
Great, thank you very much. Well, I think that takes us to our time. Thank you very much, everyone, and I appreciate you coming up for giving up your time for everyone to hear about the current state of digital twins in Saudi Arabia. Thank you.